In this chapter we will study about torque and angular momentum. So in linear motion we already know that force is required to move an object linearly. So if we apply force, then it moves linearly and an acceleration will also be produced. So we can write its equation of motion as F equal to ma. But we can see many more type of motions around us, just like an object is revolving around a fixed axis and it does not move linearly, and we also know that force is required here also. But in different situations, after applying force, we cannot rotate this object in this way. So this type of motion is called rotational motion. And another term which is much more wider than force is required to take an object into this motion. So this quantity is called torque, or we can say moment of force. That is, torque is required to move an object rotationally. So we can define moment of force is called torque, and it have same importance in rotational motion as that of force in linear motion. So we require some more things to define torque, like distance from axis of rotation where we are applying force, and the angle at which we are applying force to move this object around this axis. So these two things are required. Three things are required. First one is distance where we are applying force. Second one is the magnitude and direction of the force, and third one is the angle between the distance vector and the force vector. So these three terms combines to form a new quantity that is called torque. So we will study about this torque. Let us take an example of a wrench used to open a screw. So we see that if we apply force on this screw or this wrench in this direction to open the screw, then we say that this screw will not be opened by this method. Or if we apply force in opposite direction, then we can also say that this screw will not be opened. But if we apply this force far away from the screw, that is distance r, we are applying force at distance r away from the screw and in perpendicular direction to the distance, then we get most effect here. So the things required to define this torque are distance from axis of rotation. So torque depends upon distance from axis of rotation. Second one is the amount of force we are applying here, and third one is theta. So if here we see that when theta is 90, then we get the most effect. So sin 90 is equal to 1. Value of sin 90 is maximum. So we can write torque depend upon sin theta. So these are the three factors on which this torque depend. If we combine these factors, then we can write tau equal to Rf sin theta. Or since torque is a vector quantity, so in vector form we can write it as tau vector equal to R cross F. So that is the formula of torque, and we call it moment of force. That is also called moment of force. So the direction of this torque is determined by the right hand screw rule, where we can say that torque is always perpendicular to the plane formed by R and F. So it is a axial vector and always act along the axis of rotation. So torque is along the axis of rotation. So this is how we can define this torque. Similarly, if we take a single particle system, here P represents our particle and we have to rotate this particle around the point O. So our axis of rotation passes through this point O. For this we apply force F on this particle in this direction and at a distance r from the point of rotation. So to determine how much torque is applied here, we take the component of r in perpendicular direction of the line of action of force. So we draw here perpendicular and we get that this perpendicular distance is r sin theta. So torque can also be defined as the product of perpendicular distance from the line of action of force multiplied by the force. So in this way we can also write torque equal to Rf sin theta. If we write it in vector form, then we place a unit vector here which represents the direction of torque that is shown here. So this direction of torque is always perpendicular to the plane formed by r vector and f vector, r cross f. The unit of this torque is Newton into meter, and if we write the dimensional formula, then we can write it m1L2 t minus 2. So it is a vector quantity and these are its units and dimensions. If theta is equal to 0 or 180, then we can say that sin theta is equal to 0 and torque is also equal to 0. So no torque is acting on the particle and it will not rotate. Similarly, if r is equal to 0, then also torque is equal to 0. So if our particle is placed on this point of rotation and we are applying force here, then the particle will not rotate. So again the torque is 0. So to obtain maximum torque, we have to apply force perpendicular to the direction of the distance vector. Then we can obtain maximum torque. That is why wrenches are applied force perpendicular to the direction of distance. So this is about torque. Now another similar quantity of rotational motion is angular momentum. So we are studying about the rotational analogues of terms used in linear motion. So angular momentum is the rotational analog of linear momentum. That is, it will produce the same effect in rotational motion as linear momentum in linear motion, and this linear momentum is defined by the product of mass and velocity, while this angular momentum is represented by L. So L is the symbol of this angular momentum, and it is also defined by the moment of linear momentum. Moment of linear momentum. So we can formulate this angular momentum as r क्रॉस p. मोमेंट लेने का मतलब है कि उसको r से क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे p को. तो दिस टर्म्स रिप्रेजेंट्स मोमेंट ऑफ लीनियर मोमेंटम. और वी कैन मल्टीप्लाई द परपेंडिकुलर डिस्टेंस, that is r sin theta, from p. Then we get this angular momentum. Same is the situation here, which we have taken already, that this is our particle and linear momentum of this particle is in the direction of force, and this is axis of rotation. Then we extend this axis of linear momentum and draw a perpendicular here, and this angle is theta. Theta is the angle between the direction of momentum and distance vector. So this angle is also equal to theta. So we can calculate this distance as r sin theta. So r sin theta is the perpendicular distance between the line of action of linear momentum and point of rotation. So we can define this in this way. If theta is equal to 90, then angular momentum will be maximum and equal to rp. That is, we can write it mvr. So that is the formula of maximum angular momentum. Direction of this angular momentum is also perpendicular to the plane formed by r and p vectors. So, and its unit is kilogram into meter square upon second. That is obtained from this formula, and we can also write its dimensions, which are m1, l2, t minus 1. So in this way we can define this angular momentum, which is rotational analog of linear momentum. So next our objective is to determine relation between torque and linear momentum. So relation between torque, that is represented by tau, and linear momentum, which can be represented by L vector. So to determine the relation between these two, we use the formula of both, that is r cross f, tau equal to, and L can be defined as r cross p. So these are the formula. So if we differentiate this equation 2, we are differentiating equation 2, then we can get dl over dt left hand side, and here right hand side we take r constant and differentiation of second, that is dp by dt, plus differentiation of first term and second term remains constant. So this dr by dt represents rate of change of position vector, which is represented by velocity, and this dp by dt we can write it f by using Newton's second law. So we can write this is v, or cross momentum can be written equal to mv. So this term becomes equal to 0, since v cross v is always 0. Cross product of similar vectors is 0. So we can write dl over dt is equal to tau. R cross f is defined as tau, and this term is equal to 0. So we can write tau is equal to dl over dt. So that is the relation between torque and angular momentum. This is analogous to the formula f equal to dp by dt. So that is the formula for linear motion, and the other one is for rotational motion. So that is the analogous of mathematical form of second law of motion. So that is our angular momentum. Now if we write angular momentum and torque for a system of particles, system of particles means our object is made up of very large number of particles. Then we can modify these formulas. Let we have n particles which are rotating about this axis with angular velocity omega, having different masses m1, m2, m3, and are at different distances from axis of rotation. Then the total torque acting can be written as tau I is equal to summation ri cross fi. So we can write it like this. So that represents total torque acting on the system of particles. Similarly, angular momentum can also be written like Li vector is equal to summation of Ri cross Pi. So we can define this angular momentum in this way, where summation stands for I equal to 1 to n, for n number of particles. So in this way we can modify these formulas for system of particles. Now this angular momentum remains conserved if no force is acting on this object. Let we have applied a torque and this object starts rotating about this axis, and if external deforming forces like friction and air resistance are negligible, then this object will keep on rotating on the same axis if we don't apply any torque on this. So this is represented by a law called angular momentum conservation law. So we can define angular momentum conservation law. And this law states that if torque acting on the object is 0, that is tau external is equal to 0, then angular momentum of the object remains constant. So this angular momentum is also defined by the product of moment of inertia and angular velocity. So this can be proved by using the relation between torque and angular momentum, that is tau equal to dl over dt. That is our relation. So if tau is equal to 0, then we can say that dl over dt is also equal to 0, and hence L remains constant. Hence L is constant. This means angular momentum always remains conserved in the absence of external torque. This L can also be written equal to I omega. So I omega remains constant. This can be written by using the formula P equal to mv, that is momentum in linear motion. So we substitute the terms, analogous terms of rotational motion here. So we write L in place of P, and moment of inertia is the rotational analog of mass, and angular velocity is the rotational analog of this velocity. So I omega can also be remains constant. And for two different situations, if we apply angular momentum conservation law for two different situations, then we can write I1 omega 1 equal to I2 omega 2. That means that if moment of inertia of the object decreases, then its angular speed will increase in the absence of external torque. So in this way we can represent this angular momentum conservation law. This angular momentum conservation law can be understood by using some examples like this. A man is sitting on a revolving chair and having dumbbells in his hands, and he is revolving by stretching his hands here. We see here that it moves with a small angular speed, since its moment of inertia is large, because distance from axis of rotation is large. So moment of inertia, which is represented by I equal to mr square, that also becomes large. Now if he contracts his hands like this, then we say that I moment of inertia decreases without applying any external torque. He makes these changes on its own, so no external torque is acting. If no external torque is acting, then L will remain constant, and L will remain constant means I omega remains constant. Since I is decreasing, I decreases, so omega increases. So he will rotate with a large angular velocity in this second case. So he can control his angular speed by stretching or contracting his arms. And this can also be seen in case of a revolving chair, where speed of the revolving chair can be controlled by expanding or contracting the hands. Similar situation we see in some different situations, just like a ballet dancer controls his angular speed by expanding her legs or by contracting her legs.